For example, in 2021, in the surveys in Sri Lanka and India, large 10,000 plus sample surveys representative of everyone over the age of 15, we asked people who don't use platforms, broadly defined, whether it's transport, whether it's for work, whether it's for finding hired help, whether it's the Airbnb, e-commerce, Flipkart, all of that kind of platform non-users. Why? The biggest reasons are not particularly relevant to this conversation. That is, they don't have the need and they don't have the ability. They don't know how. Like over 50% of non-users say, I don't need it. I can still go to the shop and buy it. And an equally large number, 30+% of the population says, well, I don't quite know how. So that's something we need to address. But there are other reasons that then creep up that are really relevant. I'm not certain I will receive the goods is one of the third or fourth highest reasons people don't use platforms. So there's a huge trust element and inability to follow up. If you buy it from your corner shop or a regular shop that you go to, ability to get redressal if you don't get the good or if it's a bad good, then that's there in the way people have been purchasing, but they are not sure how to deal with this when the distance is large and the seller is not a person that you can go talk to. For work platforms, the kind of micro work freelancing platforms, there's a whole set of other things. So scam websites are a real thing. So we've studied where ad clicking is a really popular, really low paid job that people across South Asia are doing. So that, if you generate 1,000 clicks, you get $1 on a YouTube video, that kind of stuff, right? So you need to work a lot. We've talked to people who work for a year to earn, let's say, $100 or $1,000 by clicking. And in the end, turns out it was a scam or they are not going to get paid. And there is no recourse. Even the best digital work, micro work, freelancing platforms are designed in a way where it's really good for the buyer of services, who's usually overseas, and not for the worker. If the buyer doesn't pay, there is less recourse. The buyer ranks the worker for the work that they do. The worker does not rank the buyer of the services. So the design of the platform itself is problematic. There's lack of transparency in how these rankings work. When people work on work platforms, your ranking based on the buyer's star ratings or whatever is really important. But that's not the only thing that determines your ranking, how fast you respond to emails. Most people don't even know why some people are getting jobs and others, because some people have a 5-star ranking. So lack of transparency. Then there's a switching cost, which is a really particular one in work platforms, because when they want to move to another platform, they can't take their sort of ranking and previous work and move to another work platform, right? Then on social media in particular and in transactional platforms on like e-commerce, while privacy and sort of violations of my privacy come up. So those are sort of the range of challenges that sort of people cite when we talk to them, either quantitatively in surveys or qualitatively. So I want to also give the context that a lot of the users are very recent internet users. And when we ask, can you do a range of these actions by yourself or with the help of other people? Most people, and the actions are things like change your privacy settings, search for something, anything other than passive browsing. Across South Asia, what you see is only about 25% of the people are able to do these more than browsing, more than passive browsing activities themselves. Less than 50% are able to do it by themselves or with the help of somebody else. So the consumer skill also has a lot to do with it. So across the countries, obviously there's the old-fashioned consumer protection legislation, which is used by but not necessarily by majority of the users. There's a lot of power, education, and connections you need to go and fight a case against a company. The police are not particularly good at investigating these violations, even when you do have a law. Many don't have data protection regulations. And the consumer protection authorities have low resources and low capacity as well. And in fact, there's more capacity perhaps at like a telecom regulator to look at digital markets than at a consumer protection authority, which has traditionally worried about the price of milk and whether that has gone bad. So there's a whole set of things that complicate the situation for emerging markets.